Today on Set Free, we have our resident expert on all things animal, and I'm so excited because I could have cared less about all these hand-blown animals before, but now that I know that they have fascinating facts, I think it's a wonderful thing as a mom, as a grandma, as a dad, as an aunt, uncle, whatever, to buy one of everything and make those little people in your life figure out these fun facts. So Shawn, tell us some fun facts about some of these animals.
Well, to start with, the hippo. A lot of people don't know the closest living relative to the hippo is actually a blue whale.
Wow.
They have a
But
common
whales can
ancestor.
swim and they can't, you said?
Hippos cannot swim, they're too dense, so they actually run along the bottom of the water, which doesn't stop them from going upwards of 35 miles an hour in the water. They just sort of gallop along the
And they're
riverbed.
really vicious because if you're in the water, they
Extremely
will
territorial.
come under you and throw the boat up. Yeah, they're very, very dangerous. They tell a story in Africa to little kids that the hippo, when it was created, when God created the hippo, it got in the water with the alligators, and the alligators got mad, and they said, you're too big, and we don't want you, going potty in the water. And so the hippo got out and always went potty on the land. And to this day, hippos do that. They get out, get on the land to do their business, and then get back in the water. And so that was one of the little stories I heard in Africa this last time when we were on a boat on the Zambezi River, which ends up at Victoria Falls, and there were hippos everywhere. And they were telling us that story. Another one.
So rhinoceroses, most of them have very poor eyesight, which is why they typically charge things because they're not quite sure what's there. But zookeepers who make close bonds with them will tell you that they're basically 2-ton puppies.
Oh.
And you can get them very excited and they'll roll over and do zoomies for you.
So 2 tons would be what, 2,000 pounds?
4,000.
4,000 pounds.
So
Whoa.
maybe a little bit of an exaggeration, but not far off.
Wow, imagine weighing 4,000 pounds
And acting like a puppy.
and acting like a puppy. The giraffe. This is probably my favorite hand-blown ornament that we have because this is what we call ceramic, where they make a hole in it and they put paint inside it and shake it. And so it's not see-through, its legs are, but the rest of it, it's really hand-blown glass. They just call it ceramic to distinguish it from the see-through ones. But it's adorable, and each one of these little bumps on its back is added individually, and each little black mark is added. And that is just an adorable animal. What do you know about giraffes?
So, despite how tall they are, they actually have the same amount of vertebrae in their neck and spine as we do.
Oh.
There's just a whole bunch of connective tissue in between each one, but our spines have the exact same number of vertebrae.
Well, I understand they can't sleep laying down because their necks are so high that they would have a heart attack or something because the blood can't go up their neck. And Phil and I were walking on a sidewalk in Zambia one time and we heard yelling. We turned around and there were 2 giraffes galloping toward us. Phil yanked my hand, yanked me off the path. They went by, someone had frightened them. And he grabbed me and we went running after them and discovered that there was this place where at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the game wardens fed anything that came, and there were like probably 30 giraffes there, and that's where they were headed. What about our flying pig?
They're one of the smartest animals. They are typically equated to having the intelligence of roughly 3-4-year-old.
Oh, wow.
They can be taught tricks and problem solving. They've even been taught to perform basic tasks and can learn to play video games. They're that intelligent.
They can learn video games, you're kidding me. I know you play video games, so I'm sure you know what you're talking about, but that's just bizarre.
Yeah,
Seriously.
so granted it's the ones for like toddlers, but yeah, they've learned how to recognize patterns, and if you teach them what
Why
things
don't
do
zoos have a little section where kids can play video games with the pigs? I would totally go to that.
I imagine the smell.
Oh, well, there's that. Well, the reason it has wings is the famous story of Steinbeck, the incredible world-renowned author of so many classic books that many of us had to read in high school or college. And he was told by his teacher that you'll be an author someday when pigs fly. And so when he finally was a world-renowned author, even in his lifetime, the pig became the symbol, the flying pig became the symbol of, yeah, I did it. I succeeded. And so it's kind of fun. That's why it has wings, because it's talking about the flying pig. Elephant. What do you know about elephants?
So I know a little bit more about the African elephant specifically, but they're a enormous part of their ecosystem, even more than just being the largest animal around. As they make their migrations through forest, they'll actually level smaller trees, which creates game trails for smaller animals to be able to find water. So they are integral to the life cycle of not just themselves, but a lot of other animals around them.
Well, I do know in Bangladesh that the wild elephants will literally, if they run through a banana field of banana orchard, they will just level all the trees. And they love bananas, but they'll just level them flat. And in Africa, they have ancient pathways that they're used to walking. And if somebody, we literally saw a mechanic shop, we were in a car accident. We fortunately weren't in the car, but our car was totaled. We had to take it to a mechanic shop, and there was a brick wall, cement and bricks all the way around, and there was a section of it that was just flattened. And they said it's the ancient pathway of the elephants, and the elephants came there and just knocked that wall down because,
When you're
hello,
that
we
big,
were
you're not
here.
going around.
Yeah, and they're like, we're here first, and so they just leveled it. And so, yes, this particular elephant here has his trunk up in a upward, position. And I know in some cultures the positions of the trunks mean different things. And riding an elephant is a lot of fun. And one of the things about elephants is they're super loyal. And sometimes we joke about the memory of an elephant, but seriously, when the mahout, which is the lifelong owner of an elephant who rides it, when he dies, often the elephant will lay down and die of a broken
Mm.
heart. I mean, they are that loyal that they remember that man and can't live without him. All right, we have here a
Man's
dog.
friend. Been
Tell
with
us
us
about
for
dogs. What do you
many,
know about
many
dogs?
thousands of years from when we first started domesticating wolves and we started teaching them to work for us instead of being competition. And obviously, we now have everything from a Malamute to a pug.
I learned that dogs are used in 8 different ways by law enforcement. They have such incredible smell ability that certain dogs can be taught to locate dead bodies, like underground, as far down as 13 feet down. They can locate live bodies. They're taught to smell live bone tissue, and they can, if someone's in an avalanche and they're buried, they can smell that person. They're taught to, do search and rescue. And of course, we've learned so much about how they're taught to smell bombs and what incredible soldiers they are. Warriors, really. And there's a whole line of that kind of dog in the military that go in front of the soldiers and sniff out bombs. And they don't bark. If they smell a bomb or a landmine, they just sit down. And that's how the soldiers know to go around that. What about this little horse here? I think it's a horse, or is that a zebra?
Well, I guess it depends, right?
Yeah. What do you know about zebras or horses?
Well, zebras are actually not horses. They're more closely related to donkeys, which is also part of why they've never truly been domesticated because they are
Oh,
simply too wild and they don't take orders.
oh,
Um,
interesting.
they are considered undomesticatable. They're just too headstrong and too secure in their own packs to take orders from anybody else.
So the zebras live together in packs then, kind of?
Usually they'll have herds, I want to say 30 to 40.
Oh, okay.
The safety in numbers when everything around you is 2,000 pounds and you are apparently delicious.
Ah. All right. So then we have a kitty cat.
So we spend a lot of time domesticating dogs. Cats, more or less domesticated themselves. Um,
We
it's
own dogs, but cats own us, right? Yeah.
it's common held belief that they didn't have to change much to sort of ease into being pets. They learned how to mimic babies crying in their meows to get our attention. And it's actually proven that in the wild, cats stop meowing after they're no longer kittens. But as pets, they know it gets your attention, so they keep doing it well into adulthood.
And then we have a
A
little
reindeer,
deer there, reindeer, but to me he looks more like a deer with
like an antelope.
yeah. with
Well, it's a big family. It's lots of members. They're related to giraffes. They're related to horses. Um, most of your different deer all sort of stem back to deer.
yeah. So all these fun animals, fun facts. I just think I now need one of everyone, and I need to make my grandkids tell me the story. But they're just great fun, and they're hand blown. Wherever you see gold, it's 14 karat gold, and they are supporting 10 groups of small little factories and keeping this artisanal art alive. And we're using our profits to do scholarships and medical and educational scholarships for the families, the women from the lives of those men who make these in Egypt. So from our house to yours, from this little zoo of animals to you, this means war.